I thought it was pretty interesting when I saw a headline yesterday that Ben Shapiro was trying to start a feud with Taylor Swift, which we're going to talk about. But I started to think to myself, why is Ben Shapiro starting a feud with Taylor Swift? I was wondering, how is his YouTube channel doing, right? At one point, he was absolutely crushing it. Even early last year, still gaining 160 to 170,000 subscribers per month. But then I looked at the past couple months. April, 0. May, he lost 10,000 subs. February, 0. December, 0. Now, it is tough to gain new subscribers on YouTube. That is a fair thing to say. Really, the only way you're gaining subs these days is by doing short form media. And the short form media isn't even, they don't even watch your long form content. But I thought maybe this is just clout bait. And then I looked at his channel. Here's a video that he put out an hour ago, 8,000 views. A video from 7 hours ago, 16,000 views. Okay, here he did one that got 123,000 views. That's pretty good. 150, that's good. 60, 100,000. But this is a guy with 7.3 million subscribers. And I think it's because he's basically come out as Israel first. But we're gonna get into that because it's very, very interesting. By the way, I want to let everyone know we have our coffee gift boxes now 50% off. They're $49.99. Wait, let me read this as Ben. Listen, unique coffee. Have you had our blueberry cobbler coffee or our Colombian coffee or our honey sticks or yogurt covered pretzels or our chocolate covered espresso beans? Listen, they're delicious. And now, with no promo code whatsoever, by tuning into my show, you can get them 50% off plus free overnight shipping. This is a limited quantity, only available now. Link in the description. Once they're gone, they're gone. We sent an extra pallet of gift boxes to Amazon. We did not expect to get there, so now we need to move them at the low, low price of $49.99. This is several tens of dollars cheaper than buying them separately. Don't even worry about them being a gift box, but if you are looking for a gift, we all know that fathers are great, and Father's Day is coming up. So pick up your gift box now. It is 50% off. It's $49.99 with free overnight shipping. No promo code required. Now, link in the description. I saw this, he goes after Taylor Swift, which is kind of weird.
There is this thing that's happening in our culture where a bunch of people are masquerading as 17-year-olds who are actually middle-aged. It kind of is amazing. It really is kind of an amazing thing. Like, if you are of middle age, you should act like you are of middle age. I don't mean you have to be a fuddy-duddy. I do mean that you should act like an adult. Like, you're not a 17-year-old or a 21-year-old trying desperately to gain attention. You see this with Katy Perry also, right? Katy Perry is also making a fool of herself doing her international tours right now, being silly. And you see it in the lyrics of a Taylor Swift also, who pretends to be a lovelorn 16-year-old girl when, in fact, Taylor Swift is currently age 35.
I mean, yeah, I think that a lot of people growing up now experience a lot of failure to launch and a lot of mental, like, what's the word for it? They have arrested development. That's really kind of the word. Disney adults, these people. The thing is, I think that Ben is looking at his viewership numbers and he's trying to get into the headlines. He always does this, like he did this with the Barbie movie, and it's a tried and true, it's a proven tactic. And he's also technically not wrong. If you're 35, in the 60s, if you were 35, or in the 50s, you already had 2 kids and you were living in a house and you'd been married for 15 years. Times are different now. College has arrested a lot of development. High school has arrested a lot of development. So he's not wrong. Shapiro has been a vocal critic of the pop star for months, celebrating trolls who booed her at the Super Bowl and cheered on her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, and wasn't the only celebrity to be caught or while she cheered on in the crosshairs on Wednesday. Shapiro also raged against Katy Perry, Jennifer Lopez, who sparked age-related criticism for her group makeout session with multiple backup dancers during a performance at the American Music Awards. Well, I think if you look at the reason why they try to stay young like this, is because that's who their audience is. I don't know a lot of 40-year-olds who are buying Taylor Swift records, but I guess I don't know for sure. I've never bought a Taylor Swift record. I couldn't even tell you the name of a Taylor Swift song. I couldn't name a Katy Perry song. Couldn't name a Jennifer Lopez song. Although I do know, I believe she has the dubious honor of never having a single movie ever make money that she was in. I think she was in a movie called Jiggly or something like that. Geely or something like that. I don't know because I don't care about these people. But it is true that you have a bunch of adults kind of masquerading as children, passing on this message. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like this third wave feminism stuff. Like you have, I mean, Katy Perry looks like she's going on to her 60s and she's out there, you know, doing all this heinous stuff, trying to gain attention. You know, Katy Perry, who's 40, again, she should, probably have a family. She's not really a good role model for young women. That's what I would say. You know, I enjoy Theo Von as much as the next guy, although I think his political takes are insanely stupid. I mean, Theo Von's a comedian, that's fine. It's also worth noting that Theo Von is 45. So he's blasting Theo Von for being 45. I don't think Theo Von, I don't think that Theo Von is masquerading as a 17-year-old. I think he's just trying to get these articles written. Yeah, she looks really bad for 40. By the way, women have told me, fellas out there, you look good for your age is in fact not a compliment, so don't say that. But I think if I'm saying you look bad for your age, I meant that as an insult, so I get to say it. Yeah, Russell Brand won for sure. But like, so he seems kind of desperate. Like, he's attacking Theo Von, Katy Perry, and I mean, I don't care about Katy Perry or what's that other lady's name? Taylor Swift. I don't care. The fact of the matter is, you know, people are going to college. And so they're finishing college at 22 years old and they're $250,000 in debt. So the first thoughts on their mind is not to run and start a family. I mean, that's kind of just, that's the long and short of it. I mean, that's why we are where we are. I don't think that that's necessary. It's like, I've really softened my position on Gen Z for that reason. Like, people make fun of Gen Z, but I'm like, man, what chance do they have? When I was 18, I worked part-time at, where did I work at? Oh, I was at a computer repair place then. But before that, I was at Office Max selling Palm Pilots. If you're old enough to remember what a Palm Pilot was, the Palm 3C just came out. With a friend, I could afford a 2-bedroom apartment. I could afford to live on my own working part-time. It wasn't a great apartment, but I could do it. Now, if you're Gen Z, you can't. Like, quite frankly, you have 0% chance of moving out, moving out and getting an apartment at 18. It's just not possible. So, I mean, there are reasons that, you know, people are like this, and it's because these women are their role models. But I really think Ben is more desperate about the fact that his channel has completely fallen off. I mean, Tim Pool is talking about, oh, well, post-election, you know, things are really going to slow down. And I will say this week, it's been abnormally slow. But it's weird because, like, the day after Memorial Day was okay, and then the last couple days, views have been really low and live stream numbers have been low. But, like, you know, I think it's ridiculous to... Oh, I'm sorry. I want to go back and say, I do think that some Gen Z complaints about, like, rent and the cost of living and stuff, they're actually fair. They're really easy to dismiss out of hand until you actually talk to some of them and you go and you look how much rent is versus how much people make and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at his channel, it's basically been dying since March 2024, where he had 177 million views. Again, the vast majority of these are shorts. But now it's down to 50 million. So what percentage drop is that? His views are down what? 65%? Almost 70%? I mean, that's a pretty big number. And by the way, this is a guy that was averaging 100 million views for a period over 2 years. And he went from 177 million last March to 50 million. That's like almost a, what is that? Almost a 70% drop in views. I think that probably has more to do with the fact that he's talking about Taylor Swift and Theo Vaughn and all these people than the fact that while he does have a good point about their Arrested Development, I don't think Theo Vaughn has a degenerate message. He's always talking about how he wants to, settle down. He's looking for a girlfriend, this kind of stuff. But ultimately, part of it too is that culture war has definitely cooled off. There's not a lot going on in Hollywood to talk about. Trump's president. Things are good. Things are getting good. That's part of it. But I didn't lose 70% of my views since then, and I cover the same stuff. I think it has more to do with, Ben getting mad that Trump didn't bomb Iran.
So a kind of shocking story from Axios yesterday emerged that suggested that President Trump had cautioned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in a phone call last week not to take any action that could jeopardize negotiations between the United States and Iran on a new nuclear deal. Okay, so first of all, I have a question. Israel is not involved in those negotiations. So why should Israel hold off? Real question. Israel is the country most under threat from Iran, not the United States. Okay, so if we were going to take the full scale J.D. Vance isolationist realist position, shouldn't the United States just sort of wash its hands and walk away and say whatever happens, happens?
Sure. But, you build yourself on as American conservative, and I understand you're Jewish, you care about Israel, but clearly 70% of your audience doesn't. And really, I think Ben's shtick of owning libs is kind of over. Really, the whole owning libs, the whole owning libs thing is kind of over too. The culture war is cooked, but the people who have remained genuine, the Mark Dices out there, their channels haven't collapsed. So I can only really point to his more outspoken support of a country that isn't America as to the reason his channel has essentially collapsed. Gain views is not total views. No, this is total views. Gain views is in fact total views. That is absolutely true. Huck was stretching. These are total views each month. Otherwise, it would keep going up and up and up. So, in March of 2025, he's at 44 million from the previous March of 177 million. Owning the libs, dunking on the college kids, it's all over. So, hopefully people can, even I have started to, I've got to start covering more news. I've got to start doing panel live stream. I've got to adapt. Just don't know. It's interesting to watch. We'll see if Ben bounces back or not.